Hello everyone. I, Forum Patel from LG School of Law, would like to extend my warm welcome in the sixth session of the Media and the Other Estates. So friends, let's get started with the understanding of media and legislature. As we all know that media and electronic media and also the print media has to report the proceedings of the parliament and the state legislatures. In this process, they may confront the privileges of the parliaments, any deficiency of the legislative order or any scandalous activity of the legislative conduct can be viewed as a contempt of the house which the house has the authority to punish. The constitution also provides several privileges to a parliamentarian. The Black's Law Dictionary defines the privilege as a special legal right, exemption or immunity which is granted to a person or a class of persons as an exception to its duty. According to Sir Thomas Asquith May, parliamentary privileges may be defined as the sum of the peculiar rights enjoyed by each house collectively is a constituent part of the High Court of the Parliament and by the members of each house of the Parliament individually also. Parliament may define powers, privileges and also immunities until so defined shall be those that the House and its members and the committee immediately before coming into force of the Amendment Act. Now, list of the privileges has been drawn from the President of the House of the Commons, which are the freedom of speech, publications of the proceedings, the freedom from the arrest, the right to exclude the strangers, the right to prohibit the publications of the debates, then the right to punish for the contempt. The important privilege for each House of Parliament, its members and the committee may be further explained to be the freedom of the speech in the Parliament, immunity to a member from any proceeding in any court in respect of anything which has been said or any vote which has been given as the whole procedure in the Parliament, and also about the immunity to a person from the proceeding in any court in respect of the publication by or under the authority of either House of the Parliament of any of the reports or papers or proceedings. It also provides that the prohibition on the court to inquire into the proceedings of the Parliament. Also the freedom from arrest of the members in the civil cases during the continuation of the sessions of the House. Also the exemption of the members from the liability to serve as the jurors, the right of the House to receive the immediate information of the arrest, prohibition of the arrest and service of the legal process, prohibition of the disclosure of the proceedings and the decisions of the secret sitting of the House. Members or officers of the House are not to give the evidence or procedure documents in the court of law relating to the proceedings of the House without the permission of the House. And the list may go on with regard to the privileges. Now when we are talking about the immunity part, my friends, so when we are talking about the part of the immunity when it comes to legislation, do the privileges assume the form of the immunity and extend to any activity of the member of the legislature? Does the media have the right to publish the investigation report which reveal that PMs and MPs are the corrupt people or they are doing the act of the bribery? In the case of P.V. Narasimha Rao versus State, the Supreme Court in a 3-2 verdict the rule that therefore the bribe taker MPs who have voted in Parliament against the non-confidence motion are entitled to the protection of Article 105 sub clause 2 and are not answerable in a court of law for alleged conspiracy and agreement. It also ruled to the bribe giver MPs the protection under this article is not available. The Apex Court stated that these MPs are also under the purview of the Prevention of the Corruption Act, since no prosecution could be launched under the Act without the sanction of the contempt authority, and as when there was no such authority in the cases of MPs, the Supreme Court stated that the Parliament should name the competent authority with due expedience. However, no action was to be taken by the Parliament in this regard. So when we are talking about the whole concept of the legislation along with the media law segment, let's not forget that these are the rules and regulations along with the constitution, of course, that would play an important role in regulation of the media. Press Councils Act, the Working Journalist and Other Newspapers Employees Act, the Cinematograph Act, Drug and Remedies Act, along with the Competition Act, Copyright Act and many other laws. So the legislation is also deriving to these law drafting to regulate the media segment. But when it comes to their protection, when they are in the media, the constitution is there to guide on the same issue. The privileges which have been provided to the legislative bodies, or rather the members of that body, they are the weapon in the hands of the legislature against any interference from any other estate, including the fourth estate, that is media. The law of the privilege, it affects the press and the media on a very hardcore base. They may be either liable for the breach of the privilege or contempt of houses. The media persons may confront certain problems with regard to the same thing. The problems that they might be facing is violation of any of the rules and the proceedings which were framed by the House, breach of any of the privileges of the legislators, or any publication of the comment or any other statement which undermines the dignity of the House or which shakes the confidence of the Houses also. So this is how the whole media and legislature is connected with each other. Now moving forward to the next segment, that is media and judiciary, we shall be discussing certain points with regard to the same things. So friends, let's get started with the understanding of media and judiciary segment. Liberty does not corrupt into license and it is prone to be abused. Every institution is liable to be abused, and every liberty, if it is unbridled, has the tendency to become a license which would lead to disorder and anarchy. Now, Supreme Court recently suggested framing guidelines for the media over reporting of the criminal cases and briefing by investigating agencies. It is very serious matter, of course, especially the media briefing by police and other investigating agencies. Nothing should be done to hamper the investigation and secrecy of the probe. It requires certain checks since they all touch upon Article 21, that is right to life and liberty of the Constitution. The Supreme Court stated that can a parallel procedure, or rather a parallel trial by the media, be allowed when the trial is already going on in the court? This was the question, if you remember, when we posed and when we were talking about the criminal law. So it is important to discuss that how media is playing its role by using, misusing, or rather abusing the freedom of speech and expression which has been guaranteed by Article 19 subclause 1 of our Constitution. Its judiciary comes under the pressure due to the media reporting, and if media stands on the issue changes the reception of the court. Whether media is acting as a public court, the duty of the media is to report facts of the news and raises the public issues, but not to pass the judgments. This trend is disturbing and unfortunately it is increasing. That means, my friend, that the media trial can never be allowed by any of the laws. The freedom of speech and expression, of course, it is there with the media people. Of course, it is playing a role, very important one. Media is considered to be the fourth estate of our system, my friends. That would mean that they also have this right and rather the privilege to enshrine under this, to be protected under the article which has been enshrined under our Constitution. But that does not mean that they have the authority, or rather the rightful right to act as a court, as a media court when it comes to the trials. The judiciary would have an upper hand in those cases, my friends. Media should be playing the role as they have to be playing. They should not be acting, or they should not be indulging into any other activity which would hamper the act of any other estates. That is, let it be judiciary, let it be legislative, or let it be even executive. So when we are talking about all these things, Law Commission also had its opinion. Former Supreme Court Judge M. Jagannath Rao also stated that there is today a feeling that in view of the extensive use of the television and cable services, the whole pattern of publication of the news has changed, and several such publications are likely to have prejudicial impact on the suspects, accused and witnesses, and even judges in general on the administration of the justice. None can be allowed to prejudge or prejudice his case by the times the trial goes by. The media is not allowed to hold the trial along with the case. Let's just have a very practical example in this regard. You must have seen that movie Rustam, right? So what happened in that movie? There was a very small segment which talks about the media and judiciary, of course. There was a person, the owner of the press, who was giving the updates about the media, about the trial that was going on in the court in that movie Rustam, right? which was of course one of the very landmark judgment in the criminal law. So there the court literally held that person liable for misguiding the public, or rather for drawing the attention of the public and for changing the opinion of the public. Reason being, he was writing certain parts in his article which was of the nature that changed the opinion even of the jury also. So for that he was also held liable. So nobody in any of the segment is allowed to intervene with the proceedings of any other segments or any other pillars of the system that we have in our country. But in 1969, the Supreme Court held in A.K. Gopalan case that a publication made after the arrest of a person could be contemned if it is prejudicial to the suspect of the accused. This continued to be the law of today so far as Article 19 subclause 1 and 2 and 21 they are concerned. The next segment that we have to talk along with the concept of the media segment, that would be of the executive part. The freedom of media is indeed an integral part of the freedom of expression and essential requisite of a democratic setup. The Indian Constitution has granted this freedom by the way of fundamental rights, of course. The media, which is obligated to respect the rights of the individuals, is also obligated to work within the framework of the legal principles and the statutes. These principles or the statutes have been framed by the way of the minimum standards, and they do not intend to detract from the higher standards of the protection of the free speech. The media is the fourth limb of the democratic system. The legislature, executive and judiciary, they are the other three. Now, while legislature prepares the law for the society and executive takes the steps for implementation of the same, the third stepping stone would be the judiciary, of course, which is to ensure the legality to be protected for all the actions or rather the decisions. The fourth estate, that is the press or rather the media, that has to operate within the framework of these statutes and constitutional provisions to act in the public and national interest. That means, my friends, that every segment, every system in our country which is democratic in nature has the four pillars. Okay, that is a very basic concept. Every pillar has its own role to be played. What if the pillars, they are starting to indulging into in each other's place or each other's activity? That would be collapsing the whole system of the country, which is the democratic nation in our case. So rather, if we want to maintain a very strong base for our system, we need to work on literally restricting ourselves from doing the activity that has been allowed by the law for us to do as the estates of the democratic system, my friends. There are many instances and cases where the whole opinion of the courts also and many of the huge personalities have been trying to describe the same concept. So friends, this was all about the media and executive, media and judiciary, and media and legislative part. In the next segment, we shall be talking about the most important segment, that is media and journalism. Till then, stay tuned and keep learning.